Welcome to the course Bioprocess Engineering. The chapter 2 of the course deals with cellular stoichiometry in bioprocesses. Bioprocess involves the use of various types of cell lines starting from the microorganisms, plant cells, animal cells and the mammalian cell lines for the production of industrially important products. Before the start of any process, the bioprocess engineer has to predict the turnover and feasibility of the process by analyzing the stoichiometric coefficients and determining the economic feasibility of the product. In the chapter 2, here we are going to discuss about the stoichiometric analysis of microbial productions and for product formation and calculations regarding the elemental balances and calculations of degree of reduction and degree of freedom.
Bioprocessing involves a broad variety of cell types from bacteria to whole animals and for products which are native to the organism. These bacterial cells do not divide by meiosis and mitosis. Instead, most bacteria grow asexually by a process known as binary fission. In this process, the bacteria copies its own chromosomes, elongates and splits off into two daughter bacteria which are genetic makeup identical to the parental bacterium. Each daughter cell can continue the doubling process. This process happens rapidly, so the number of bacterial cells increase. The general objective of today's class is students will be able to evaluate the stoichiometry of microbial growth and product formation. Three specific objectives have been framed to discuss the general objective. Specific objective 1, indicate the material balance of substrate, oxygen and nitrogen for cell growth. Specific objective 2, compute the elemental balances in a microbial system. Specific objective 3, determine the degree of reduction of substrate, biomass and product. Let us proceed with the specific objective 1. Indicate the material balance of substrate, oxygen and nitrogen for cell growth. For microbes, growth is their most essential response to their physicochemical environment. Growth is a result of both replication and change in cell size. Microorganisms can grow under a variety of physical, chemical and nutritional conditions. In a suitable nutrient medium, organisms extract nutrients from the medium and convert them into biological compounds. Part of these nutrients are used for energy production and part are used for biosynthesis and product formation. As a result of nutrient utilization, microbial mass increases with time and can be described simply by substrate plus cells gives extracellular products plus more cells. Shortly, summation of S plus X gives summation of P plus N into X, where S is the concentration of substrates, X is the biomass concentration, P is the concentration of products and N is the number of cells that are formed at the end of a typical process. When a liquid nutrient medium is inoculated with a seed culture, the organisms selectively take up dissolved oxygen from the medium and convert them into biomass. A typical batch growth curve includes the following phases: lag phase, exponential or logarithmic growth phase, deceleration phase, stationary phase and the death phase. The lag phase that occurs immediately after inoculation is a period of adaptation of cells to a new environment. Microorganisms recognize their molecular constituents when they are transferred to a new medium. Depending on the composition of nutrients, new enzymes are synthesized, the synthesis of some other enzymes are repressed, and the internal machinery of cells is adapted to the new environmental conditions. These changes reflect the intracellular mechanisms for the regulation of various metabolic processes. The age of inoculum culture has a strong effect on the length of lag phase. The age refers to how long a culture has been maintained in a batch culture. Usually, The lag phase increases with the age of the inoculum. The log phase, also known as logarithmic growth phase or exponential growth phase, is the phase in which the cells have adjusted to their new environment. After this adaptation period, cells can multiply rapidly and the cell mass and cell number density increases exponentially with time. This is a period of balanced growth in which all components of a cell grow at the same rate. That is, the average composition of a single cell remains approximately constant during the phase of growth. During the balanced growth, the net specific growth rate determined from either cell number or cell mass would be the same. Since the nutrient concentration are large in this phase, the growth rate is independent of the nutrient concentration. The rate of microbial growth is characterized by the net specific growth rate defined as mu net is equivalent to 1 by x dx by dt, where x is the cell mass concentration in terms of gram per liter and t is time in hours, and the net specific growth rate is the difference between a gross specific growth rate mu g and the rate of loss of cell mass due to cell death or endogenous metabolism kd. Also, the microbial growth can also be described in terms of cell number concentration n as mu r is equivalent to 1 by n dn by dt, where mu r is the net specific replication rate. The exponential growth rate is first order as the growth rate is directly proportional to initial biomass concentration. Upon integrating the net specific growth rate at cell concentration x and x0 at time t and 0, the time required to double the microbial biomass is obtained, where the doubling time tau d is equal to ln 2 by mu net, where mu net is the net specific growth rate. Also, we can calculate the doubling time based on cell numbers and the net specific replication rate as tau d dash equal to ln 2 by mu r, where tau d dash is the doubling time based on replication rate. During the balanced growth, the tau d and the tau d dash will be equal as the average cell composition and size will not change with time. The deceleration growth phase follows the exponential phase. In this phase, growth decelerates due to either depletion of one or more essential nutrients or the accumulation of toxic byproducts of growth. For a typical bacterial culture, these changes occur over a very short period of time. The rapidly changing environment results in unbalanced growth. During unbalanced growth, cell composition and size will change, and the doubling time of cell mass and cell number will not be equal. In the exponential phase, the cellular metabolic control system is set to achieve maximum rates of reproduction. In the deceleration phase, the stresses induced by nutrient depletion or waste accumulation cause a restructuring of the cell to increase the prospects of cellular survival in a hostile environment. The stationary phase starts at the end of deceleration phase when the net growth rate is 0 or no cell division occurs, or when the growth rate is equal to the death rate. Even though the net growth rate is 0 during the stationary phase, cells are still metabolically active and produce various secondary metabolites. During the stationary phase, the cell catabolizes the cellular resource for new building blocks and for energy producing monomers. The cell must always expend energy to maintain an energized membrane and transport of nutrients and for essential metabolic functions such as motility and repair of damage to cellular structures. This energy expenditure is called as maintenance energy. The appropriate equation to describe the conversion of cell mass into maintenance energy or the loss of cell mass due to cell lysis during the stationary phase is given as dx by dt is equal to minus kd into x, or x is equal to x is not e power minus kd by dt. where Kd is the first order rate constant for endogenous metabolism and XSO is the cell mass concentration at the beginning of stationary phase, because S is 0, mu G is 0 in the stationary phase. The stationary phase is followed by the dead phase. The dead cells lyse and the intracellular nutrients are released into the medium or used by the living organisms during stationary phase. At the end of the stationary phase, because of either nutrient depletion or toxic product accumulation, the dead phase begins. The rate of death usually follows first order kinetics, as dN by dt is equal to minus kd dash into n, or n is equal to ns e power minus kd into t, where ns is the concentration of cells at the end of stationary phase and kd dash is the first order death rate constant. The growth kinetics can be measured stoichiometrically to the determination of yield coefficient, where yield coefficient is defined as the proportionate of biomass formed through the substrate utilized, and the yield coefficient based on product formation may be defined as del P by del S, where del P is the amount of product produced to del S is the amount of substrate utilized. The substrate that is being consumed for biomass and product formation is a sum of the substrates that are used for assimilation into biomass, assimilation into an extracellular product, growth energy, and the maintenance energy. The substrate fed to the given bioprocess is utilized by the cells for biomass production, product formation, carbon dioxide production, water formation, lactate production, and excretion of various amino acids. A material balance on biological reactions can easily be written when the composition of substrates, products, and cellular material are known. Consider the following simplified biological conversion in which no extracellular products other than water and carbon dioxide are produced. As a bioprocess engineers, we should be able to quantify the theoretical yield before starting any process. Thereby, if we provide X kg substrate, we should be able to determine how much amount of cell will be produced at the end of the typical process and how much oxygen is needed to produce a typical B kg per day of the cell. Also, we should be able to quantify that if we provide X kg carbon source as a substrate and Y kg nitrogen source substrate, when all the carbon source is consumed, will there be nitrogen source substrate left in the broth at the end of the culture? Also, we should be able to predict how much substrate is required to produce Z tons of the product per year. A typical biomass contains various molecules such as proteins accounting for 30 to 60%, carbohydrate contributing 5 to 30% of total weight, lipids to 5 to 10%, DNA 1%, RNA 5 to 15%, and the ash with various elements such as phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, etc., with the various elements such as carbon accounting for 40 to 50% of total weight, hydrogen contributing for 7 to 10% of total weight, oxygen 20 to 30%, nitrogen 5 to 10%, phosphorus 1 to 3%, and finally the ash 3 to 10%. A typical cellular composition can be represented as C H 1.8, O 0.5, N 0.2, wherein 1 mole of biological material is defined as the amount containing 1 gram atom of carbon such as
H alpha. The second specific objective for today's session is compute the elemental balance in the microbial system. The elemental balance has to be performed to determine the theoretical yield from the typical biomass. The limiting nutrients in any typical bioprocess is the carbon source and the nitrogen source, and oxygen is utilized in the aerobic reactions. So for an aerobic reactions, the major elements to be considered for elemental balance are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen, whereby the elemental balance has to be performed for the elements in the products and in the substrate. Consider a simplified biological conversion process with glucose as the carbon source and ammonia as the nitrogen source, and the given dry mass where A, B, C and D are the stoichiometric coefficients.
The ratio of moles of carbon dioxide produced to the moles of oxygen consumed gives the respiratory quotient of the given process. The values can be substituted in the material balance equation to determine the stoichiometric coefficients in the given process. Common respiratory quotient for various metabolic processes are: for carbohydrates, the respiratory quotient is 1. Lipids has a respiratory quotient of 0.7 and the proteins has a respiratory quotient value approximates to 0.8. Let us now determine the stoichiometric coefficient for aerobic growth of Saccharomyces cerevisiae on ethanol, whose overall reaction is given, and the respiratory quotient for the given process is 0.66. So we have to determine A, B, C, D and E, which are none but the stoichiometric coefficients for conversion of ethanol into biomass, carbon dioxide and water.
Next, let us proceed with the specific objective 3. Determine the degree of reduction of substrate, biomass and the products. Elemental balance provides no insight into the energetics of a reaction. Usually, electron-proton balances are required in addition to elemental balance to determine the stoichiometric coefficients in bioreactions. Accurate determination of the composition of cellular material is a major problem. Consequently, the concept of degree of reduction has been developed and used for proton-electron balance in bioreactions. The degree of reduction gamma for organic compounds may be defined as the number of equivalents of available electrons per gram atom carbon. The available electrons are those that would be transferred to oxygen upon oxidation of a compound to carbon dioxide, water and ammonia. The degrees of reduction for some key elements are carbon 4, hydrogen 1, nitrogen -3, oxygen -2, phosphorus 5 and sulfur 6. The degree of reduction of any element in a compound is equal to the valence of this element. The degree of reduction for methane, glucose and ethanol is given here. The degree of reduction for methane is 8 and that for glucose is 4 and that for ethanol is 6. A high degree of reduction indicates a low degree of oxidation.
Let us now work on a small exercise. Find the degree of reduction for carbon dioxide, water and ammonia and the general biomass written as CH 1.8, O 0.5 and N 0.2.
In today's class, the stoichiometric parameters to determine the yield of given bioprocess for estimating the biomass and product formation rate has been discussed with an insight into material balance, elemental balance, electron-proton balance and the degree of reduction to calculate the microbial growth, determine the yield and to determine the productivity of the given bioprocess.
The reference books for further reading are Bioprocess Engineering Basic Concepts by Schuler and Kagi, Principles of Fermentation Technology by Stanbury, and Kinetics of Competitive Co-Metabolism under Aerobic Conditions.
In today's class, the stoichiometric analysis for the conversion of carbon and nitrogen source have been performed, and we have determined the degree of reduction for various biomasses and the respiratory quotient for the conversion of the given carbon source into carbon dioxide and water. Thank you.